everyone, and welcome. It's me, John Park, and this is John Park's Workshop. Hello. Greetings. Are you ready for a fun show today? Critics agree this is going to be the best half hour of making stuff this afternoon that you can see. I don't know how they agree on that. They rarely agree. But this is the one. This is going to be a great show. Let's see. Someone says it's buffering a lot right there, right now. That's Matambale. Sorry about all your buffering. I hope that's not my fault. So we've got good voice levels. Thank you, C. Grover. Occasional distortion. All right. Let me take this down a little notch there. That might help, and I'll try not to yell so much. I get excited. So let's see. What have we got in store today? Let's get started with our cool vintage item of the week. I don't ever do this every week, but for those of you who are on the show and tell last night, Adafruit show and tell, you may have seen a torn apart Game Boy original that I had on the show, and I decided after the show to finally make the thing work. So this is it. This is, let me get that reflection off of there. This is a first generation Game Boy. It was made in 1989, according to some of the serial numbers and stamps and dates that are inside of it. I think August of 1989, which is really an early model. I got this at a yard sale for $1. I think it was $1. It might have been $3. I think it was $3 because I had the game thrown in there, but I think this cartridge by itself was $1 or something like that. And it never turned on for me, so I figured out with it fully open last night that it was just the battery contacts needed to be resoldered where they touched the PCB. They had come loose, so it was kind of intermittent. That was one problem, and then what was the other problem? Oh, so once I got it starting up, the Nintendo text that scrolls down when you start it was garbled, and I got it to work a little better through repeated turnings on and off. Wasn't quite sure what that was about. Then I went ahead and cleaned out the contacts on the cartridge port, and that did it. So live demo here, but let's turn this on. I say live demo. Was it already on? I broke. Oh, there we go. I think my battery came loose. There's, oh, the contrast isn't great, but you can hear it. Your new kitten, Future Kitty, is captivated by the stream, eh, Dastels? Does your kitty like Brickout? This is some Brickout-like game called Alleyway. Anyway, this contrast control has kind of got some issues. It goes sweeping through very quickly to super dark. I might have to clean out that pot on there. But anyway, I'm excited to have that working. And the other thing I wanted to do with this is I'm going to take it fully apart again and try cleaning the plastic shell that's beiged a lot or yellowed a lot. With this technique that you can read about online where people take hydrogen peroxide and water and they soak it in the sun and it bleaches it, or it's not really bleaching it, hydrogen peroxides it and cleans it up. Hey, if anyone wants to see a kitty, you can head over to Discord, the Adafruit Discord channel, live broadcast, and you'll see Dastel's Future Kitty watching on a tablet of some kind, watching the show. Hi, Future Kitty. Meow. So anyway, that's my vintage repair of the week, is this little Game Boy. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that other than maybe get a Tetris cartridge for a couple bucks and play Tetris on it. Okay, so why don't we get a coupon code up here. Today's coupon code is Billiard. That's a weird word. Billiard. And that will get you... Hey, Carl Francis over on Facebook. I know I don't usually check the Facebook chat, but I just saw he said his kids were telling him that this is an olden days computer. Yes, that is a kind of olden days computer. Billiard. That'll get you 10% off in the store today, and that's good on anything that your heart desires in the Adafruit store, other than gift certificates, subscriptions, and software. Speaking of subscriptions, you may want to go and check out if there are any subscriptions left for AdaBox 009. We had a few, maybe 100 or less available yesterday out of the full set that we've made. We've made a fixed set of these boxes. So if you wanted to subscribe, I think you might still be able to do it today. I hope so. Go do it, and you'll get some really incredibly cool stuff, great projects, awesome pack-ins and goodies. I'm not going to reveal too much yet other than to say it's Halloween themed. So go check that out. But you can't use the coupon code on that. But this coupon code you can use for other stuff. So go get some other stuff. Okay, so product of the week. I went a little kooky with the product of the week this week. So let's go to the product of the week. Product of the week this week is our friend, the Cricket Featherwing. You've seen a lot of Cricket projects on this show before, especially with the Circuit Playground Express. But I haven't really used the feather Cricket in a project until now. So first of all, let's talk about the feather Cricket. It is a feather wing that you can plug a Cricket into. And then it gives us all the great robotics and motor control, NeoPixel control, bunch of signal inputs, drive outputs, servo. What else can we do with it? There's a speaker output for the audio, for the amplifier that's on there. We've got 4 capacitive touch on there. So it's a really cool breakout. And it handles a lot of the power management, which is often the tricky part when you're trying to use microcontrollers to drive bigger, torquier motors and heavier duty stuff. So I keep pointing over here because this is, if you see that little red thing, that's where I've hidden my Cricket Featherwing, because I got a cool little demo that I put together with it. But that's the Cricket Featherwing. And there it is with a feather on top. So it'll take pretty much any feather, which is extra cool. So if you wanted to add Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, for example, or LoRa or RFM 69 HCW radio control to a Cricket project, go for a feather version of the Cricket. Can't do that with a CPX one. But if you want to get wireless onto these, a very cool way to do it. So let me show you this project. All right, so I'm going to bring the project to us. So I like when projects cause you to build other projects. So I built this little aluminum frame. Oh, let me move my mouse out of the way, so that I could have this thing held neatly in front of the camera. That was the whole purpose of building this frame. And I have a tip about this aluminum I'm going to show you in a second. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm plugging in power right here. This is USB, which I use for programming. I'm not using that right now. But I've plugged in power onto the feather, and that then, the Cricket Featherwing. That is powering up the feather board as well. And what my program is doing right now, I've got a infrared distance sensor plugged into the sensor input. There's one of the sensor input slots on the Cricket. And if you see the red LED, I can't point backwards, there you go. See that little red LED on the feather? When I put my hand in front of the distance sensor, you'll see that it senses that something is a certain distance away, which I programmed in a CircuitPython program on the Cricket, rather on the feather. What it's doing besides holding that LED lit is it's energizing this electromagnet. So I was thinking this could be kind of an interesting either prank sort of thing. I mean, don't crush someone's skull with a big heavy padlock, but there are definitely pranks that you can do, or Halloween pranks and scares that you can do involving electromagnets. I was also thinking as far as escape rooms, it could be interesting to have electromagnets holding things that you seemingly can't reach unless you just simply try. So there you can see I'm tripping the distance sensor, and when I trip the distance sensor, it tells my electromagnet to release. So kind of a cool use of distance sensing and electromagnet. So that is just one use for a feather Cricket, or a Cricket Featherwing. I can't get the name straight. And so that's why that is our product of the week. Now, while I've got you here, the thing I wanted to mention is that I discovered yesterday that you can interface this type of T-slot aluminum which is sort of like 80-20. We sell this in the shop. This is a 20 millimeter aluminum extruded T-slot. You can interface Lego with it pretty easily. So you'll see there's these, let me grab an Allen wrench. You'll see we've got these Legos that are the 1/3 height plates, and they have there's ones you can get that have a series of holes in them. And those holes happen to fit a M3 screw really neatly, which is what this whole T-slot aluminum system is based on. So all I did was set that with these little T-nuts in there. And then when you turn the screw, 9 times out of 10, it positions the T-nut properly and then just tightens it in there. So now with those in place, you can add things to your aluminum that just need to be held there, not going to bear a ton of weight or anything. But in the case of this, I've got Lego pressed on here, and then I've got this very cool little Cricut board that the Ruiz brothers made that I 3D printed, and then my Cricut is screwed into there. So if I can find where's the little tubes these go in? There we go. I say it's easy. Live demo. Let me put that on over here first. Why is that not going in? Oh, I pulled off one of the little plastic, a little piece of 3D print came off on there. That's why it won't fit. There we go. I've been struggling with my 3D printer settings lately. There we go. So anyway, that's my tip. My shop tip of the week is if you're using this type of aluminum, you can add Lego to it. Always add Lego to things. That's my meta tip, right? Find a way to add. All right, so that, let me unplug this. I'm going to move this out of the way. That is my use of the feather wing Cricut feather wing. All right. I will find other uses for that stand. I think that's handy. All right, so what else is going on? Let's, you know what? I know what. This is a great time to dive into a little thing I call the Make Code Minute. All right, let's bring up some stuff here. Look, there's a Cricut. It's not a Cricut. There's a Circuit Playground Express. There is my Make Code, and what I wanted to talk about today on the Make Code Minute is using the tilt sensor, the accelerometer, on the Circuit Playground Express inside of Make Code to detect tilt of the Circuit Playground Express and send messages over USB to the computer just like a mouse wheel. So you'll see here I've got a little special mounting going on here today. I've mounted the Circuit Playground Express to a piece of wood, and I have another little piece of wood underneath it and some rubber bands so that it'll maintain an orientation, but I can tip it forward and backward, kind of like a foot pedal. Okay, so what you'll see here in Make Code is, I'm going to pull up my Make Code session. Where'd it go? There you are. So what I have going on in here is I have this forever loop, so the whole time this is running, and then inside of it I have 3 little while loops. So the while loops are looking for sets of rotation angles. So I have this reading the rotation degrees of roll, which is this axis, based on how I have this oriented. And what I did was, through some testing, found a little band of numbers that are when I have it tilted forward, another range when it's sort of laying flat, and another range when I've tilted it back. And then all I'm doing is I've added the USB mouse extension to this Make Code program, and now while it senses that I'm tipped forward, it's going to turn the mouse wheel 1 unit in the negative mouse wheel direction. And the opposite is true when I tilt it back. And I've also got some color coding going on with the NeoPixels. So here's a demo. I'm actually going to use this to scroll my window up and down, which is a really handy use of any mouse scroll wheel. And you can see if I just press it and release, it's going to stop going because I have rubber bands returning this. So this could be really useful for all sorts of accessibility things, for creating output for music controls, maybe put it in a power glove so that you can change a filter using up and down motions. There's a lot you can do with just measuring that roll using the accelerometer on the Circuit Playground Express inside of Make Code. All right, what do you think of that? I know that Mr. Certainly, come next Wednesday, you'll tell me how long that took, because that's the standard now with my Make Code Minute, trying to keep it under 2. Oh, I forgot to throw on the outro. I'll throw that on the video later. So that is the Make Code Minute. All right, well, we're doing pretty well on time. We've got about half the show left, and so what I wanted to talk about is the project of the week. So let me get rid of that. Project build. I can hide that too. So the project of the week, you may have seen me tease something yesterday and online a little bit. It involves our Halloween, and I used a few different items here. Let me show you some pieces and parts before we put the whole thing together. So I've got 3D printed Halloween case, which the Ruiz brothers created and published, I think, yesterday. The timing was great. So what I did was I took these and I modified them just a little bit. I'm going to show you what the 3D models look like, actually. Let me hide that project build thing. Where do you go? This is just Cura. This is what I was using to 3D print. So I've added some little tabs, ears, on the sides so that I can screw it down to this little plate here. And these holes match up here. And I've also carved out a little hole in the bottom so that the Halloween will fit, but there's some space for batteries, so you could choose larger batteries if you want. And so I've got a case. All right, good. I've got a thing to attach it to. This is an earlier one without the hole. And then I've got a snow globe. So these are these Adafruit store snow globes. They're inexpensive. I've used them as snow globes before. The Ruiz brothers used one, I think, in their dice rolling machine project. And so what I've done is I have added I've kind of combined another 3D model so that I can put a lid on and hold my Circuit Playground, or rather my Halloween on the top. And then inside, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but you'll see I've got this swirling motion going on, which is, in this case, blue food coloring and water. I've got a little bit of glycerin in here to thicken it up. And then I'm using this stuff called pearl dust. I'm going to grab a light. You're going to see a big reflection, but you'll probably see the superfine pearl dust a little better. Let's see. Oh yeah, look at that. So this stuff is incredible. It's edible. It's actually what's used in baking to put a shimmer and a sheen on things. But you get this really nice, what do they call this, rheostatic fluid, I think, this effect. And it stays suspended for a pretty long time. It's much better than just regular glitter because it's so fine. So that is the basis of the project of the week. I'm gonna switch cameras. How about that? Let's go over to the workbench and let's get a overhead cam. Look, there it is. So this is my Magic 9-ball, because it is one better than a Magic 8-ball. So I've got it charging right now, and this has the Halloween inside underneath this case. I won't pop that off for right now, actually. And the way this works is, I've got it sitting on a little base right now. Zoom that camera out. Oh, you just lost a camera. Why did that camera go out? Time out. Here, watch that while I fix that camera. Hey, camera. Did you overheat? I'm going to turn on the little fan that I have over here. And we'll go big on this one. How about? There. Looks a little less panicky. Oh, that fan is pointing the wrong way. That doesn't help. I would be sucking hot air marginally away from the camera. All right, let's see if it's happier. You can do it, little camera. Yes, the camera's back. All right, take 2 of that. Let's go there and there. All right, good. Thanks for putting up with my technical difficulties. All right, so here I have my Magic 9-ball. You can see this one I did in orange. I can shake it up. And what you'll see is when I turn it upside down, I get a different message each time I turn it and turn it back up. So this is using, again, the accelerometer. And all this is detecting is the z-axis on the board. So in this orientation, the z is measuring negative 9-ish. So it's in, is that right? I think that's what I think it's doing like gravitational units, imperial style, right? So this is negative 9, this is positive 9. And what I'm doing is just measuring when it goes, I think, to about positive 5, which means I've tilted it. And then it's going to fade a BMP file up. So I've got a whole bunch. I've got 20 of these. Let me ask the Magic 9-ball, is this super cool and a great use of the Halloween? Ask again later. All right. I always want to just ask again immediately, but that's cheating, right? Let's see. Will this leak and destroy the Halloween? Don't bet on it. It will not leak and destroy the Halloween. And the reason for that is a couple things that you can do with this. So this one, you can see I was experimenting with different methods of mounting, and I have a note on that in a second. But this one, we've got this little stopper is in here. On some previous projects, I've actually glued that with some E6000 glue. You could probably also use silicone to seal that up really well. But the nice thing is the pressure of the cap, when it's screwed down on top of that, holds that down in place. And as long as that's screwed in nicely, you're not going to leak. I wouldn't turn this upside down and stomp on it, but that's not a good idea anyway. So that should not leak. You can seal it up, but the mechanical pressure is enough to hold these. And I've had some of these sitting around since last Christmas, and they're still good. So let's take this one apart, though. I'll pull this camera out a little bit, and we can try to switch to that as our main cam. So you can see how I put this together. I've got this 3D printed ring, which was a model made by the Ruiz brothers for their dice rolling project. And then I've got my Halloween inside of this case. So I'm just repurposing a whole bunch of Ruiz brothers models here, and then I made one very simple one myself. So there's the board, and this actually snaps out of here as well. So it just kind of snaps fit into place. There you see I've got a little battery on the back there. And then remember I built those little ears on the sides, so those are screwed down into this purple plate that I now have the cutout to allow for a bigger battery. And then that's screwed down into there. This I did hit it with a couple dots of hot glue just to kind of keep this purple disc in place a little better. But then the pressure of this screwed down onto the stopper is what's keeping this sealed up nice and tight. I did not seal this, but you certainly could. You could go in there and seal that up if you like. So nice thing about this case design from the Ruiz brothers is that you can still, even with this all snapped shut, you can go in there and turn the on-off switch. It's a tight fit, but you can just go in there with a small screwdriver or something like that and just go side to side. That just turned it off, and that turns it on. See, it just faded up an answer. And you can charge that battery there through the USB port. So you probably saw this when I switched over to this camera earlier, unless it was broken. I think it was working. This will fit a USB cable very nicely, and that's going to charge the battery in there. So I can screw that back into place. And once that's on there nice and snug, it's not going anywhere. And let me turn on my chat here in case we got any. Needs a few neopixels shining through the translucent plug. That would be fantastic. Yeah, there's a lot of space down in there to add stuff. You could do things with speakers, with neopixels. It's a lot of fun. So let's see, is that one of the cooler things that you have seen today? Cannot foretell now. There's a lot of mystery here. So by the way, I researched the Magic 8 Ball, which, as you may have guessed, this is based on. And there are 20 answers. So it's a D20 three-sided die. Is that some kind of a truncated icosahedron, an icosahedron of some kind? Someone tell me what that geometry is. 20 sides made of triangles. So 20 answers in there. There were 10 positive outcomes, 5 maybe outcomes, and 5 negative outcomes. Typical one has that die, like a dice die, inside of a little chamber that is filled with a blue liquid, and I believe it's alcohol. C. Grover said earlier that it was alcohol and blue dye. So this is a neater version, I think, and you get to pick your own color. So I programmed this in CircuitPython, and what I did was I took the code that Scott had written to use the capacitive touch, which I'm not using in my software. Scott had written code to use capacitive touch to change images in an image viewer. So all I did was modify that on Phil B's suggestion. I'm not even using shake. I'm using simply the accelerometer Z, polling the accelerometer Z, so that it then fades it up. You could do a lot more with it. You could do things like add images that are rotated, so sometimes it comes up and you got to turn it, which would be kind of fun. You could probably do some more sophisticated things in the graphics, but right now I don't have rotation or scaling or anything like that, so it's just simply playing back a BMP, but I think in the future we could get there. Certainly looking at the raycasting demo that Phil B made, you can imagine that the possibilities are there for maybe doing pseudo polygonal objects, so it could be a ball bouncing around in there, who knows. Let's see, so the one warning I wanted to make is, so I'm writing a guide for this, it'll be out tomorrow. The one warning I want to make is that earlier I was trying to, let me see if I can grab another Halloween. I was trying to see about fitting the Halloween inside of the cap. So rather than with this 3D printed thing. And I would not recommend that. If you don't have a 3D printer and you don't want to get some part like that 3D printed, I would recommend actually leaving the cap that it comes with intact. It looks like this. I would take that and use some double stick tape and attach your Halloween like that. Or you can cut a little hole out of it, which is where I started, and allow some space for the battery. But trying to get it up in here, it looks like it fits pretty nicely, and it even gives you kind of a mysterious look. Problem is, the lip of this interior plug is just tight enough that with this resting on the edge, I managed to snap off the housing of the little reset button. So the little reset button has, oh, sorry, you can't see that. If you didn't see that, that's what that looked like. There you go. It has like a little cover, tiny little metal cover, and it's just a speck on my finger there that you can see. And plastic button. Those popped off. The button will still work, but I am afraid you might break your Halloween if you try to sandwich it in there. So you'd need a hole cut out for the screen anyway. So that's my warning. Do with that advice what you like. This was another attempt at just cutting the whole top away, but it was looking horrible. So that was the progression on that build. So this is how I ended up deciding, you know what, it's worth on this project 3D printing. Was it worth 3D printing? Looks like yes. Fantastic. Thank you, Magic 9 Ball. So look forward to that in the Learn Guide tomorrow. I'll have all the code for that and all the images. That was probably the part that took the longest, was just generating a good-looking set of 20 images for using as the BMP files. And let's see, what's going on over in the Discord? That's the project of the week. I hope you enjoyed that. Let's see. Yes, C. Grover saying put the NeoPixels in there. Heck yeah. Dodecahedron. Is it a dodecahedron? There you go. It's a D20. Thank you. The orange one looks like BB-8. It kind of does. Yeah, I was experimenting with different die ratios. This one was kind of fun. Where's that light? I can show you this one doing its swirly business. It's a really cool effect in person. This light helps There we go. Look at that. I don't think it wants to focus on that. You kind of have to put your face near things if you want to focus with these cameras. And this stuff is edible, which I haven't tried yet, but I know people put it in potions. Actually, I want to give a plug. The idea for this, when I wanted to research what do you use to do this kind of swirling effect, I found that Epbot, E-P-B-O-T, she is the woman who runs the Cake Rex blog, and she's also a cosplayer and builder of things. She had the suggestion of this particular super fine pearl dust stuff, which costs, I think, $5 or $6 at a craft store, baking supply, or I got it on Amazon, delivered like next day because I was running low on time. Other questions from the Discord chat. ATmakers, Bill, did I use the fusion threads? The fusion threads, I believe, are what the Ruiz brothers used to build that piece, and then I just, actually I didn't even modify that. I literally just printed that and then made that little cap interior so that I could pop it in there. So this, I believe they used the fusion threads to build that, and it fits perfectly on the little snow globes that we sell in the store. Let's see, what else? NeoPixel ring. Oh yeah, a ring would be great. A ring, I think a ring fits in there nicely. I know Circuit Playground Express fits in there nicely. Have I got any rings? This one's actually a little small. I've got one of these little ones that could be cool inside of there. Takes people back to their childhood. Yeah, what a cool and weird toy the Magic 8 Ball was. 9 is the most digestible number because 7, 8, 9. I did not know that, Mr. Certainly. Bad stuff. All right, well, look, that is the show. Before we go, a quick reminder that you can get 10% off in the Adafruit store if you use the coupon code BILLIARD. Billiard. And go there. You can get all the supplies you'll need to build this. I think we have some Hallowings in store right now. I'm pretty sure. Oh, and one last thing before I go. One of our own community members sent me a pretty cool project build. This is from Tex on the Beach. And I just need to find a window to share with you here. Do I have that window shared? All right, you're going to lose my audio for a second while I add this, because it's worth checking out, this project build. Where's my Firefox? There it is. Is that the right one? Close. There we go. All right. Okay, and I managed to preserve my audio. I think. Yeah, you can still hear me. So check this out. Tex on the Beach did a build of the Milk Jug Glow Skull, and he used a Crystal Skull vodka bottle, which is that glass skull you can see there. You can see it's got the top on it still, a little topper. And so there you can see he's got his heat gun, he's got a sponge and water, scissors, there's the milk jug. And I want to say this is the most creative use of a piece of driftwood I've ever seen as a shop stand. So he's mounted the bottle over this piece of wood, and here are his results. So he had to contend with the fact that that spout was coming out at the top, so he snipped it with some scissors and popped the sort of looks like Jughead's crown. You know that weird hat that Jughead wears in the Archie comics? Kind of looks like that. So he said that he's going to be making a bunch of these at work. And so I wanted to thank him for sharing that with me. And if you ever make a project that you see on the show here, please share it. We love to find out more. You can share it in Discord. I love to see images of stuff that people are building, and I might share them on the show. I don't have any as seen on John Park's workshop stickers, but if you get in touch with me after sending me some images that have appeared on the show, I'll send you one of my one of these. It doesn't say. Let me this, sorry. One of my little stickers there. It doesn't say as seen on, it just says John Park's Workshop. But I'll send you one of those if you share me a project build that's a project from the show. So thank you so much for your time here today. For Adafruit Industries, I'm John Park, and this has been John Park's Workshop. Goodbye, everyone.